Assalamualaikum everyone.
Hello.
My name is Iman.
And I'm Amal.
I'm Safiyya.
And we are here for another episode of the Weird and Wonderful podcast. So you might notice that we have a third person on the couch with us.
Yes.
This is Safiyya. Full name?
Safiyya AZMAN.
We share the same last name, but
We're not related.
no blood relation.
Yeah.
Safiyya is one of our very good friends. We've been childhood friends for a very long time. Obviously, because we're old, so childhood, yeah, makes sense. And you are here because today we want to talk about satisfaction and happiness.
Okay, super fun.
And for us, well, I don't know, I speak on your behalf.
Yeah, I
but
think so too.
I think you are like one of the happiest people that we know.
That's very nice of you to say.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
so I'm just gonna ask you a broad question. Like,
Okay.
do you think you're a happy person?
I mean, I think to be honest, in this life, it's kabhi khushi, kabhi gum, right? You're sometimes happy.
She loves Bollywood movies, by the way.
Only Shah Rukh Khan, only in the 90s, right? I don't know what
Okay.
happened in the 2000s. But so basically, no one can be happy all the
100%,
time.
right.
So that's a very unrealistic goal or vision or idea to have. Sometimes I'm happy. And yeah, sometimes I'm sad. But you know what? That's okay because that's part of life.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I think what I want to strive for is not really happiness because that's very temporary.
Right.
What I would like to have and what I'm always every single day is a lifelong journey is try to get that peace and contentment.
Right.
Because that is, when you feel happy, it's like a high. But when you feel
Yeah.
peace and contentment, it's like a nice, peaceful feeling.
So you wouldn't say that happiness is equivalent to contentment?
For me, it does not.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how would you define contentment?
Okay, so I would just equate back to what I felt when I was in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
So after I graduated, I studied in Australia.
Yeah.
I did law and finance, came home. And as a person in their mid-20s, you kind of feel like a little bit lost in a good way. You don't know what you're going to do, who you're going to marry, are you going to buy a property, like all these big life decisions all of a sudden when you just finished studying, right? And as I was searching every single thing, I kept getting temporary highs, buying good handbags, going on vacations, other stuff, you know. That's not for today. And then one day, my parents, we went for Umrah.
Yeah.
And as I walked into Medina, the Masjid Nabawi, I felt this feeling. And it was just calmness and just quiet. My heart just stopped asking me 10,000 questions. Everything was just quiet. And I was like, this is what I want in my life. I want this peace because, and I know, this is coming from a religious point of view that this is in religion, and so I know that in life it is normal for me to feel happy. Sometimes it's very normal,
Yeah.
right? You get oxytocin when released when you hug someone you love. Adrenaline. These are all happy hormones, but you also feel sad sometimes,
Yeah.
right? But if you are always at peace and with yourself and with takdir, right? You'll always be like, okay. But this is not something that you achieve and that's it. It's
Right.
a lifelong thing. This is what I think. I feel.
So what have you been doing? Because I know you said like you were a lawyer for a while,
Yes.
and then you kind of
Right.
gave that up
Right.
to do your
right,
own thing.
Right.
So I guess in the uncertainty of like in your case, like doing your own business,
Right.
how do you find contentment or peace with like the constant like trying to figure
Uncertainty,
out?
right? That's a very good question. So what I have, this is just me. I might be crazy, but I talk to myself a lot. Just be like,
I
We
think that's
all do.
very normal.
very normal. I not out loud, but sometimes out loud in a room,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm
I've heard you talk to yourself before.
okay, so that's on the DL. So I asked myself, Saf, like, what can you control and what can't you control? So this happened in my, again, mid-20s where life is happening, so much is happening. Some I can control, some I can't control. So what I have done is just try my best. This is not something that I have gotten down perfectly because I'm still a work in progress.
Yeah.
So I look at
All
things.
of us are.
Right.
I
So I
think
look at things
for the rest of your life. You are a
Yes.
work in progress. Yeah.
all the time, WIP, and I'm like, okay, what can I control, what can't I control? And so when I started this business, it was everyone liked certainty. So I started this fulfillment business, and I'm like, well, I'm starting a business, I don't know what's going to happen, but at the same time, I'm going to just let go, because the best thing I can do in my life is just try hard and pray, and then everything else will just happen as it's supposed to happen.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
What I can control is my attitude. What I can control is I'm not going to buy that dress. I'm going to buy that dress, right? I can control that.
Yes.
When I'm going to get married, I can't control. And if I
Right.
sit here and I'm just like, oh, I'm really stressed and people are stressing me out, or sometimes it's the questions that people ask you and then you question yourself. You're just
Right.
like, are they right? Am I alone? Do I need to get married? When really, in reality, you haven't even met the person that you want to marry.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is that I can't control. My business, how is it going to end up, whether we get sold in 5 years, acquired by Amazon, those are things that I don't know. So because I can't control, I try to just don't think about it and just let go of that control. And it's actually a very freeing thing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not an everyday thing, I feel like this, you know. It's
Yeah.
I have to always, self-reflection is so important.
Yeah.
So what I do is when I feel like all like, oh my God, and I can't control it, I'm like, Safiyya, look at the bigger picture. What is the bigger picture, right? And the bigger picture is God just wants you to try your best and pray, and that's it.
Yeah. So you said you do a lot of reflection. So
Right.
when do you do it? How do you do it? Like, is it something that you do every single day?
Right,
Or is it like when I feel it, I do it?
right. It happens when sometimes extreme moments of happiness or like doubt, self-doubt or stress. That's when I'm just like, hold on, Safiyya. Like, what is happening here? Why do you feel like this? Let's reel it back. Or when I'm very happy,
Yeah.
I stop for a while and I'm like, thank God. Because happy moments don't come all the time,
Yeah.
right? But it does come. So what I try to do is when it comes, sometimes I write it down. Today I'm very happy, remember this time. Or I'll just try to have like a mental picture, you know. Even if it's something like just sitting down with my cat or just
Yeah.
hanging out with him. And it
What's your cat's name?
His name is Ozil. He's really cute.
She throws birthday parties.
I
right?
I do.
She's very devoted mom.
I 100%. So these are the times that I reflect.
Yeah.
But this is why people meditate as well, right?
Yeah.
Where they try to reel everything back in and just focus.
Right.
And I think that's so important. And sometimes we don't get the opportunity to do this because every single day we are busy, not just doing things, but there's so many things that are thrown at us, whether it's
Yeah.
from the radio, but mostly from social media on our phone. So we're on the phone, you see so many ads, so many things. Even though it's not talking to you out loud, it's still a lot of information to take in.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so good when you are meditating or when you're praying,
Yeah.
right?
I was gonna say praying.
Take that time off.
Yeah. I guess for us it's 5 times a day where we have this like
Right.
5-10 minutes of time that we can take to like reflect. But most of us, including myself, it's like just doing it so I can like tick it off the list.
Right.
Right.
So I can be
Right.
like, okay, yeah, I got my
I got
salat
Zohar
into it.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, but if you really think about it, it's the time that we have with Allah for us to like either thank Him, to ask
Right.
Him for help, for
Right.
whatever it is, you know. So I think it's really important that
Yeah.
we strip it back, strip
Right.
salat back to what
It's supposed to be, yeah.
correct, what it's really for.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
your story about Masjid Nawawi just like gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, it is amazing. But also another thing, just what I also do is to also, in my self-reflection, to give more perspective to myself, right? Because sometimes when you're in a bad situation, it's all relative. Of course it's bad, but it's always good to step back and then look at other people who's less fortunate than you. Because
Yeah.
nowadays with social media, we tend to look at people who are better off, seemingly better off, with
Right.
their
Correct.
great photos, great filters. Let me tell you that a photo is only a photo. It's not real life.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I am sometimes guilty of throwing those like nice photos. Everyone's like, oh my God, you travel so much, it must be great. But at the background, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Right. For sure.
Yeah. So you do travel, and I know that
Sometimes.
you alhamdulillah, that's an experience that you truly enjoy doing.
Yeah.
What has been, if you could relate to the photo thing, what has been like an amazing photo you've posted on social media that
Right.
actually
Has
behind
like a really
it?
bad
Right.
It's a really
Oh,
bad
yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah.
Do you have
Okay.
any of
Oh,
those?
so many. So I'll
Yeah,
answer
so
that.
for me, like I totally get the whole macam taking a photo tapi in the background there's something else happening, right? So like before I would take like OOTDs like out in the street, like it's a nice brick wall tapi next to me there was like a homeless man sleeping.
Right.
You know, so pictures and things like that you think bring satisfaction to you actually don't.
No.
No.
Yeah, so have you ever had like that kind of experience?
Well, yeah. So I mean, as I said, from photos you get to see the person's best, what they want to show you, right?
Because it's all in your control.
Right,
Right.
exactly. And then, but what happens is that on the other side, people might see and be like, wow, she's having the best time. She's leading this great life. Well, alhamdulillah, yes, I'm grateful for everything. But I'll give you a small
Yeah.
example. I went to Budapest, and what I showed was me staying at Four Seasons. It was great, right?
Yeah.
But what happened the day before that was I traveled with, I'm so sorry, if you're going to be watching this, I apologize for telling the story, but I'm not going to say your name. So we went to Budapest together.
Yeah.
And then she left me there. Eastern Europe. I'm not talking about London. I'm talking about Budapest in Hungary.
Like
right?
she bailed on you, your friend?
She left. So basically, we got there, and then it was a bit of an issue. And then her other friend, coincidentally from Malaysia, was also there. So he left to go home.
Yeah.
And so after less than 24 hours of being in Budapest, she left to go home with him and was like, "Oh, I have a meeting by." And I was like,
Oh dear.
so shocked and just very
You were
scared,
stranded.
Yeah,
scared.
and they don't speak the language. They
language.
don't speak English. There.
No,
Yeah,
they
oh,
don't. And it's Eastern Europe. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Game right there.
So I mean, luckily for me, my best friend lived in Germany, so she came over. And what
Yeah.
I posted to show was what we stayed later on at this
Right.
really nice hotel the
Yeah.
next day.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was under a lot of stress.
I'm sure.
And the thing about life is that it doesn't always go the way you plan, but you try to pivot until you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like I'm a planner, right?
Yeah.
Whoever knows me,
We all are.
it's
N-
crazy.
Not me.
Not Amal.
Not me.
Two on this side of the
So
couch.
most of us. So I try to plan everything, but
Yeah.
whenever something doesn't work out, I try to tell myself it's okay. We pivot, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
You move on. I guess, like, I don't want to box you in this category of like unmarried friends.
Right.
But, you know, that's just the circumstances that you have right now.
Right.
And, you know, whenever I meet like unmarried girlfriends or whenever I'm talking to Amal, it's always like, when are you gonna get married and that kind of thing. But you, whenever we talk about it, you always like sort of make it light.
Yeah.
And you never like really stress about it.
No.
You just kind of like laugh it off.
Right, because I have, alhamdulillah, so many friends in all walks of life. I studied in Australia. I live in Johannesburg for 5 years. And so I know that everyone, whether you're the richest or the poorest,
Right.
married with 5 kids, not married, everyone has challenges.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So I don't look at anyone and think, I want your life, I want her life, I want his life. I have never, alhamdulillah, because I know everyone has their own
Yeah.
challenges.
I want your life when you're traveling.
No, that's not true. That is not true. So like it's the same if you were to ask anyone were to ask me when are you getting married, the same question will be thrown in a different way to other people when they just get married. When is your first child?
Yeah, it just never ends.
Never
It's
ends.
never gonna end.
And let me
Yeah.
just say that this is from people, and people, like, you know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you only need to worry about one person, which is Allah.
Well, it's not a person.
Well, one being, right? One being, which is Allah, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're doing right by Him, you should be sweet in everywhere else.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I think a lot of the young people today, I don't know, Mom, maybe you can speak to this, but a lot of the young people relate to like happiness
young.
as like, she's 22.
I-
Relate happiness to having a partner, to being married, to
Right.
like this one girl or guy who's like going to magically bring happiness
Oh,
into
that's
your life.
scary.
Isn't that scary?
That you have to
People are
depend.
flawed. People are flawed.
Yeah.
People can just drop down.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm not going to, but I cannot imagine putting my happiness on a person because
Right.
maybe my life lessons, and stuff. And so there's only one being that is constant,
Yeah.
which is Allah. Everyone else is flawed.
Right.
And it's not fair for you to seek happiness from another person.
Yeah.
What if that person's tired or had a bad day? Then what?
I think sometimes I'm guilty of that though. Like, I always seek Ashraf for happiness. Like, if I'm like down or if I'm having a bad day, I always go to him and I know that he's gonna make me feel better.
And that's okay. That's just like, that's not like
But that's not always
depending
true
on
though.
him. Yeah.
Because sometimes he's had a bad day too.
And he looks to you. It's a partnership. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Marriage is beautiful.
Right.
And that's why it's half of Iman. It's beautiful. And I know I'm saying that you shouldn't look to a person to be happy, but marriage is a beautiful thing. It's a big deal. I would want that for myself with the right partner as well, because together you're able to build this life of sadness, of happiness, but building together is better
Right.
than trying to build it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Do you guys ever feel like you're missing out?
Who's
That-
you guys? Me and her?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
because we're not married.
Yeah.
I know.
No, for me, I feel like I have other things. I don't have to worry about another person.
Mm.
I don't have to jaga his hati. I don't have to think about in-laws. For me now, I just get to concentrate on myself, on my family, on my parents. I don't have to think about this whole other thing. When the time comes, I'll do it
Right.
to the best that I can. But for now, I'm really enjoying the fact that I don't have to.
That's right.
Yeah, And I don't have to worry about I don't have to worry about all that.
Yeah.
So I cherish that.
Yeah, and that's when you do things like Amal does. Like, you can focus on other people, you can like focus on your art, and then you guys get to travel. Like, I can't anymore. Like, if I want to travel, I have to check like another person's schedule.
Right.
You know, but then are either of us like not happy or not satisfied because we have this extra baggage? You know, I think that's when the dimension is different.
How did you feel before you got married? Were you like, you couldn't wait? Was it?
Yeah,
Did you feel like that?
I could not wait to get married. Like, I was counting down the days, and I'm even sure if you scroll back on my Instagram feed, there's a photo of me like lining up
Fruit
Cheerios.
Loops.
Yeah, Fruit Loops.
Yeah, I remember that.
And like
The days.
Yeah, how many days till I
That's
got
so
married?
cute.
And for me, I guess because I was just at that time of my life, and it was just a phase I was going through, this man was going to be the man that would bring me happiness.
Right. And that you discovered.
And I discovered that it's not the man, it's the relationship that we
Right.
That's
have
right.
together. Well, obviously, yes, it's man. But like, it's the relationship that you have, and then what is it that we build together? Exactly like what you said. It's
sure.
not always going to be happy all the time. So I think the big fallacy is that a lot of people these days, especially young women, put satisfaction onto marriage.
And then they get disappointed.
And then they get disappointed. Like, Amal has no expectations at all.
Great.
Yeah. No,
Great.
I think it's gone so far as to I don't have any expectations, and now those expectations have become negative.
Right.
So now it's just like,
You know what? It's always a scary notion, right? Getting married and the whole marriage thing. But once you find the right guy, inshallah, is the guy for you, it will go great.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
It's like this. You know how like in math it's like it goes up and down, but then the average will be like this, going
Right.
up. Yeah. So it's like never gonna be just like this or
Were
that.
you ever good at math? in
I have a
school?
finance degree.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's it.
But I would, if I say I'm good at math, my dad would laugh at me. So
But do you also think that finding satisfaction Islamically, like, how do we sort of counter that in this modern world, right? Like,
Right.
a lot of people say, oh, finding satisfaction in this modern world is having material things.
Right.
But obviously, as Muslims, we know that that's very different.
Right.
So how do you almost like kind of balance that? Because you don't want to be a hermit and not have anything
Right.
nice, you know?
oh my God. So in Surah Qasas, there's an ayat that Allah says that spend on yourself. If you have the money, spend on yourself, and you can spend on yourself. So I like to do everything in a balance. You know me, I like expensive things sometimes. sometimes. And but at the same time, you should just realize self-reflection, right? Realize that this is not contentment and this is not happiness. This is a
Right.
temporary high. If you take
Yep.
drugs, for example, let's not go too deep into that, but if you take drugs, it's a very quick and fast high.
For
Yeah.
sure.
But it's not sustainable.
No, because you have to take the next thing. And
That's
then the next
right.
thing. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're chasing the world. Once you chase the world, you become a slave. But
Right.
the only thing that's sustainable in this world is Islam and is Allah. I honestly have tried everything else. I was, because my dad used to tell me that happiness is with Allah, and I was like, not as if, but I was like, easy for you to say, you know, you're religious already, like you don't know me, like you don't know what I do, like, you know. So I didn't believe him until I felt it in Masjid Nabawi, and I was like, my God, he's right.
Right.
It is in Islam. Of
Yeah.
course, I still seek the latest Gucci handbag. Of course, sometimes. And it's
I
not
love how you you have a disclaimer. It is sometimes at the end of
Thank you.
everything.
This is free advertisement. I expect a handbag. Thank you so much. But just don't be fooled into thinking that this is your happiness.
Right.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
God doesn't want you to be a hermit.
Right.
But God wants you to have a balanced life, right?
Right.
So if you have the extra dough to buy that handbag or that shirt or that holiday with your, or that shirt for your baby or the education for your child, it's all good, well and good.
Right.
But just know that your life journey should be targeted towards Allah
Right. And the hereafter.
and the hereafter.
Yeah.
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 And also sadaqah is very good. Just very quickly, just
Yeah, of
because
course.
sadaqah gives you exposure. Sadaqah is charity to give you exposure to those less fortunate. So what happens is that when you feel all these feelings, especially like
What kind of feelings?
dissatisfaction,
Okay.
or like someone's living a better life, or I'm missing out on something,
You're feeling envious.
envious,
Yeah.
it's because you're so self-consumed within yourself. So what is good is that you step back, look, and when you give charity in a small or big way, doesn't
Right.
matter, it gives you exposure to those less fortunate. I swear, I can promise you, you will feel differently,
Right.
because you're just like, Alhamdulillah, thank God.
Yeah. And I think it's not only charity in terms of like wealth, but it's also time.
Oh, for sure. Time is more difficult.
Right? The time that you spend
In the soup kitchen.
in the soup kitchen, or
Right.
with disabled children,
Yeah.
or whatever it may be. I think that's something that's missing personally from my life.
Right.
That I feel like I need to do more,
Right.
Yeah.
because what I'm doing now, like yes, I'm happy, but you're right. It's a high. And
It's
I
a
never
high.
realized that.
Yeah. For sure.
And
Yeah.
is there any kind of like psychological like thing that you can like wrap out now?
No, I can't think
Yeah.
of anything.
It's
but-
all hormones that gets released, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm not a doctor, so. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like walking home with like a shopping bag of something, you like feel good about
You're
it.
so excited about it. But then once you get home and then you unwrap it,
Do you know
and
what
then you look
yeah.
at it and it's like, oh, this is mine now. And then
You
what?
get over it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You get over it.
It's
really
actually a
fast.
nafsu thing where your nafsu wants you to get like Gucci handbag.
Yeah.
I really
Do
like.
you really want
Right,
this
it's-
handbag?
There is a handbag in Gucci that I do.
Do I need to call your dad?
I'm joking. So it's the nafsu, the desire of that
Right.
that we have in ourselves to want, get.
Yeah.
It's and then when you get it, you're just like, okay, cute.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
crazy.
It's like, okay, I'm not going to use a handbag analogy, but books, right?
Right.
So for me, it's
healthy.
So for me, I went to a book fair recently and I just like went crazy.
Right.
I had like 2 carts. And it was such a high, like watching them like scan out, like, oh, I'm
It's
going to get.
almost a good high with books.
Yeah,
but
like,
it's great.
Yeah, but.
Yeah. Thank
you know,
God
I'm-
it's books.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
I'm gonna get to go home with these books, and then I get home and I like look at them nicely, and I think to myself, "Huh, this is all I bought.
Yeah.
Like it's not enough.
Right.
Like that high was only at the book fair when I was checking out. Now I'm
Right.
at home. It's like
Yeah.
I actually got to read all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so it's really interesting to kind of contrast happiness versus
Right.
contentment and
Right.
peace.
And it's so important. I wish I had some access to Hollywood stars, and I know this is a crazy thing to say because sometimes
Go for it.
I feel that they need just a little bit of guidance, because if you think that the rich people are happy, that's
they're
not,
not.
true. They
I
are
think
yeah.
Jim Carrey actually once said that he said, I wish everybody was rich and famous so that they'd know that being rich and famous isn't the answer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's actually they're worse off, to be honest,
Yeah.
because when you only see the world, you're chasing the money, chasing the fame, your soul is so sick.
Nothing's going to be enough.
Nothing's
Yeah.
going to ever be enough because
Right.
it really wants that contentment. It keeps getting temporary highs.
Right. And they think the temporary high is the thing that you need, but it's actually not.
It's actually not, but they don't know that. Because sometimes if you're not religious, right, you kind of like, oh, what am I chasing then?
Right.
What am I gonna get?
But it's interesting to, I mean, alhamdulillah, we are very grateful. We come from very comfortable homes, you know, things like that. I'm just afraid like the people watching might be thinking, oh, it's easy for these girls to say because they're privileged.
Right.
Right.
Because they get to go on holidays, because they get to study abroad, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. How will we then explain that?
Right.
right.
Like,
But-
oh, it's easy for you to say don't chase money when you have it.
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm not saying don't chase money. Or, you shouldn't, right? But what you should do is work hard. Honestly, in whatever you do, whatever situation you're in, even if you're rich, right? But you don't work hard, you won't feel good,
Right.
because working hard is actually good for the soul.
Right.
So even if you're in a place where you don't travel as much, you don't have many things, you're actually better off because you're not chasing for worldly things too much.
Right.
And at the same time, if you really are, it's actually the same equation over and over again, whether you can travel, cannot travel, married, unmarried. It's actually not about that. The principle is the same. So as a lawyer, what we do is we take a principle and we apply it to situations. The principle is always the same, whereby self-reflection, gratitude in everything that you do, working hard,
Right.
praying after working hard, because then you tawakal. All these are the rules that you should apply to everyday life
Right.
in whatever situation you're in.
Right.
Yeah.
And comparing what you have versus what other people have.
Yeah.
That's that person's rizqi.
Yes.
And you have your own rizqi that maybe you don't even see.
That's right. And this is why the sadaqah part, or the stepping back, is very important, because
Yeah.
nowadays people tend to look up. There's so many people who's higher
Right.
above than us.
Right.
Who I can look at people with 10 kids driving whatever, like, something that seemingly I don't have.
Right.
But I don't do that because what's the use? They might not be happier. They might, I might not want that, you know?
Mm.
But this is why gratitude in everything that you do is so important. So I like to look at the lives of the prophets because they all did not have a great time here. It was they all went through really difficult times.
Yeah, you were telling me, yeah.
Like Nabi Nuh lived for 1,000 years and his followers were only about 50 to 100 of the poorest people.
Right.
His wife wasn't a believer.
Yeah.
His son passed away in front of him because he wouldn't come onto the ship with him.
Right.
That is tough. Nabi Sallallahu 3 sons passed away when they were infant. That is very sad.
Yeah.
Nabi Yusuf got thrown into the well, got sold as a slave in Egypt. Now this I can go on with all the prophets. Nabi Musa.
She loves her Islamic
Sirah.
history. Her Sirah.
And the reason why I like it is because it gives me great perspective. Because
Right.
sometimes
Perspective, that's such
it's
an
so
amazing word.
it's so important, because sometimes when I go through something bad and I'm like, meh, why me, meh, you know? And then when I hear the lives of the prophets, when Allah loved them the best and
Right.
look at their lives.
Right.
But that's not the point. The point is not to have an easy life, right? It's supposed to be your connection with Allah. If you go through something small or big that is difficult, it's Allah's way of like reeling you in. Don't forget me, Safiyya. Don't forget me. I'm here. Cry
Yeah.
to me. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Right? La tazan inna Allah ma'ana, right?
Yeah.
There's Islam is so beautiful.
That's all this is like what's that word? Something bad that happens to you that brings you to Allah is better than a blessing that makes you forget Him.
That's right,
Right?
100%. So if you are having a really great life, easy life, step back and think, oh my God, like, you know, be grateful, because
Yeah.
you might forget. You could forget.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us in this day and age easily do forget.
Right.
Because we're so busy delving into what we think is important, like this
Yeah.
modern world, and
Yeah.
comparing ourselves to each
Yeah.
other.
Because everything is so accessible. Everybody's lives are so accessible.
That's right.
That you get to see
The
everyone.
best
like,
part of their lives.
Yeah, the
still.
best part, because they get to choose what they put up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I think the reason why I don't look at social media and feel like missing out is because I know a lot of people who seemingly have a good life, and I know what happens behind the scenes.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I know them personally. So I
Yeah.
know that, of course, life is good sometimes, but that doesn't mean that it's great all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
But let me just make it clear that you should work hard for that dough. You should.
For the
because
dough.
we have to live in this world
Because
with
we gotta
money.
bake. Okay,
We
sorry.
got-
Sorry, that was bad. That was really
no,
bad.
that's good. And also
That's good.
with that, and it's not about numeral value of what you get in the bank account. It's not about 10,000
Right, right.
2,000. It's all about berkat.
Yes,
Right.
berkat,
Mashallah.
definitely.
What you can do with that money is what's important.
And
So
how you get the
always
money.
work hard.
Yeah, for
Always
sure.
work hard. Don't think that, okay, I want to be like only Allah, only Islam. All that's well and good, but Allah tells us to work hard too.
Correct.
You know, to do business so that you cannot be a beggar in this world.
Right.
Yeah.
Value of money, I think that's extremely important as well. And having tons of money in the bank is not going to make you happy if you don't spend it on the right things. Like
Right.
you said, sadaqah and like taking care of your family. And
Yeah.
I know of people who say, oh, I'm just going to do so and then leave it up to Allah. Allah will
Yeah.
take care of it.
Yeah.
You're not really following
Yeah.
the
No.
equation.
The hadith
Yeah.
says you have to tie your camel first. And then, okay, the whole
Then
hadith.
after that, see how.
Yeah, the whole hadith is that there is a man who wanted to. I mean, he had a camel and he was going to leave the camel at the side of the street and then go somewhere. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And then the Prophet came and he said, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm just leaving my camel here. I trust Allah is going to take care of it." And the Prophet was like, "No, you tie your camel somewhere first and then you put your trust."
That's
in Allah."
right,
Yeah.
100%.
So I feel like a lot of people really misunderstand the whole put your trust in Allah, because you
Correct.
have to
Yeah.
put in your 110%
That's
first
right.
before you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't study, you can't like not study before a test and then
Yeah.
expect to
Yeah.
ace it because you said, "Oh, I put my trust in God." Like,
You know,
happen.
yeah. So I think finding a balance with satisfaction, happiness, peace, content, all of that, you really just have to look back at what's in your heart
Yeah.
Right.
and what you're doing with your heart.
for sure.
Yeah.
So people tend to say like, "Oh, it's so easy for you to say you come from a good background, monetarily you're secure." But isn't that in itself a challenge, you think?
Okay.
Like a test. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Right. So I do not want to just, put that to the side and say, no, everyone has a difficult time, whether you're rich or not, because that's unfair. I
Right.
have to
Right.
acknowledge the fact that I am lucky that I'm comfortable.
Three of us
Three
are.
of us, yes.
Right. So it's very important for me to first say that, acknowledge that.
Acknowledge
Yeah.
it, yes, for
Because
sure.
instead of just brushing it away.
Yeah.
But having money, right, it is a dugaan
Or
in
having
a way.
parents who have money.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is not a automatic thing, I suppose.
We've been trained.
Yes.
Iman, you don't
Yeah.
have money.
Yeah.
We have money.
Yeah. So my parents did not start off with having money. I remember having to shop at the local Pasar Malam for
Right.
my fake Nikes. I don't support fakes anymore. That was when I was like 7 growing up. I went through a government school, so it was fine.
Right.
But what I have found going through that, and then now is a little bit more different, is that the dugaan with being very comfortable is your connection with Allah.
Right.
Because you tend to forget because you're just like happy, you see your dad working hard, you see the money, you're like, thanks dad, or so you have to remember that with money comes with a big responsibility.
For
That's
sure.
why the Sahaba, when they had money, sedekah all the time.
Yep.
Right.
Because you will be accountable for money in day of in Kiamat, right? Allah's
Right.
going to ask you, what do you do with the money that I gave you? Did you help others?
Right.
Right? So that's why when you have money, it's a dugaan in that way. But at the same time, that's why zakat is there. It's for you
Right.
to distribute and share your money as well.
For sure. Yes.
And you are in a great opportunity to also get pahala by giving sedekah. So that's a dugaan, but at the same time, it's also a blessing because we have the opportunity.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I know, and I just feel like I don't do enough.
Yeah.
I feel like what did I do with my money last month? Oh, I went online and I bought a t-shirt.
Right.
Like,
right.
do I really need another t-shirt?
Right. Right.
So many things to think about.
Yeah. No, because we tend to feel like if we are giving sadaqah or giving zakat, we're giving away our money, we're losing.
Right.
This is
When
very true.
actually we are.
Right.
I think it was one of the ustads who like talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah,
He
yeah,
said that
yeah,
you're
yeah,
not losing anything. You are banking
Gaining.
in. You're gaining. You're banking into your pahala bank.
It's an investment, right?
It's an investment.
It's an investment.
Yeah, for sure.
The more sedekah you give, Allah is building a castle for you in
Inshallah.
in sugar.
Yeah.
And if you are from a place where you're paycheck to paycheck, that is also okay. Allah's not looking at every person, how much sedekah you giving,
Yeah.
how much
Yeah.
sedekah you giving.
Yeah.
No. Allah looks at your situation.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're living from paycheck to paycheck, that is your
And you give sadaqah in different ways.
yeah, that is your challenge. You raise great children, that is sedekah enough for the ummah.
Right.
Inshallah.
So everyone has different responsibilities. Everyone has different challenges. It's not about money or not having money.
Right.
It's
Right.
about what you do with what you have.
Correct.
If
Yes.
you're living paycheck to paycheck, maybe your challenge is in other ways, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I am quite known for on saying on social media is just don't chase your guy. He will come. Like your jodoh.
Right.
Like Allah has planned for when he is about, for who it is and when he's going to show up in your life.
Right.
But again, for you guys, like, how do you see that? Like,
For you.
sorry for like placing you guys in a box.
She's 22, but great. Okay, cool.
I'm married.
Right.
So with this whole concept of Allah will provide, Allah will give you your jodoh when it's time, do you then not put effort? Do you just like literally sit back and think, oh, Allah will send him to me, I'm just going to sit here and wait for him to come on his like big white horse?
Right.
Or do you strive for
That's
it?
okay. Yeah, you're good.
I think it's a mix of everything. Also, if you feel like it's not time, I think that in itself is like a sign, like, okay, it's
But
okay.
some people think it's time when they're clearly not ready in the sense of like their age or
Right.
where they are or just emotionally. Like you think, I have to get married. That's like the next step in my life.
There is no too young or too old
Right.
to get married.
Correct.
So that
Correct, you're
this
right.
is all a social pressure, social.
Don't get
sort of
married under
thing.
16, though. Just don't
No,
do
no,
that.
that's not allowed by law. I'm
Is it not?
Right? Yeah, you need someone's consent if I'm not
Oh, okay,
mistaken. Okay, but let's just say 18 is young.
Fine.
Right? Okay,
Right.
so 18, let's say 18 and then upwards, right? So why do we feel 18 is young? Why do we feel 40 is old to get married? Is because of societal pressure or what
Definitely.
society tells us what is
Right.
young and what is old.
Right.
Before, 1,000 years ago, the marrying age is completely different. So people's timeline will change according to time. So you should never look at people's perspective with age being like this is young, this is old.
Right.
So going to your point where you're asking about do we try?
Yeah.
So I believe as per the law, as I said before, you have to always try your best and then you pray and then tawakkal, right?
Right.
This applies to this as well. And I'll just give you a personal anecdote of how I do it. Again, if anyone I dated is watching this, I'm really sorry again. So what I do is if someone asks me out or like someone's like, oh, Saf, I have a cousin, I have a friend, I have a colleague, and this has happened with all my social groups. So much so that after...
Because you're so great, we just want to share you.
You're so sweet. But and then it doesn't work out and I can't go for dinners anymore. I'm not invited to weddings. But you know what? It's okay. So what I do is I try my best, right? So I will go on that first date. I will go and meet him. I will give my number because that's me trying. Even though I'm like, don't know whether it will work out or not, I will always try.
Right.
And then after trying for maybe a few weeks, a few months, I still don't feel it. After dua, ya Allah, like, is he the one for me? Is he not? Then I let go after trying.
But what if people then argue that maybe you're not finding the right person because you're not doing it the halal way? Because the halal way is to not go on dates.
Right.
To not like chat with guys on the phone, you know?
Right. Well, you know, I have a lot of friends who don't date because I went to Islamic school in South Africa. So they don't go on dates per se to like McDonald's or whatever. But
McDonald's dates are the best.
It is.
By the way.
It's so simple and easy and just like no pressure, right?
For sure.
So in those, the guy still needs to see the girl's face, even if you wear a purdah. Because I got friends wearing purdah, like the covered thing. On that day that they meet the guy can actually ask to see the face.
Yeah,
Right.
That's true.
That's true. Because I have a lot of
Really? I
friends.
thought it was only after marriage.
No, the man has to see so that he can
He
see
knows
if he
whether
wants
he's
to.
attracted.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's actually very simple. We've made it very complicated. It's actually very simple. The guy will come see the girl. They'll talk for a while with mahrams present. And then maybe it's 3 times, 4 times. But mahrams are always present in someone's house. Make it respectable. The girl doesn't have to be like dressed sexily. She just, whatever she is, pakai jubah, all that is okay. And then you istikhara. And Allah will let you know. Honestly. Because Allah has shown that Khadijah, right? I love, for example, Prophet's first wife and arguably one of the most beloved, right? Prophet did not marry anyone else while he was with her. She actually was the mother of most of Prophet's children, right? But she was 40 years old when he married Prophet, who was 25.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? That tells you that anything can happen.
Right.
Look at Nabi Ibrahim, right? With his first wife, Sarah. Sarah gave birth when she was over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Really?
Hajar was the one with
that.
Ismail. So after they couldn't get children with Sarah, then Sarah was like, why don't you marry Hajar and try that out? Then married Hajar, got Ismail, and then they went off, you know, to Saudi, right? Then Nabi Ibrahim, over 100, was still married to Sarah, over 100 as well. They were all very old, right? Right. Nabi Nuh was 1,000, so I don't know,
it
right?
probably was like 20.
And and then angels were brought down to them to be like, you're going to get a son, which is Ishaq, right? Nabi Ishaq. And then Sarah was very surprised, started laughing. She was like, that's weird, I'm really old. And the angel was like, you think Allah's command is weird?
Yeah.
No, this is exactly the point. Allah can do whatever Allah wants.
That's true.
Whether you're 18, whether you are 225,
it's
it can happen.
Specific, but yes.
I know, sorry. It came to my mind. It came to my mind. So I think we need to stop harping on things that is uncertain.
Right.
But we still have to try, right? So go on that halal date, go and meet the person that your auntie wants to set you up with. I know it's painful. I get it. I feel your pain. And I've gone through different guys, all types, right? And
you have.
I have. But not for today.
Yeah. We'll see if they want you to come back.
And then so I still keep trying, and I know that it's painful. Girls, I get it. We keep trying. We keep having to go on that first date. This is what I studied. This is what I do now. Blah blah blah. It's the same thing over and over again. But let me tell you that Allah knows and Allah is watching. And you pray. You pray because Allah is elevating your status. And keep yourself pure. I know I'm not the one who should be saying this because I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But I want. That is what I want to be.
You're striving for.
Yeah. So always try.
And I think like that's such an amazing perspective, because I also think that sometimes who am I to tell people, oh, wait for your jodoh? They'll be like, it's easy for you to say, man, like you're already married, whatever it is. But I think it's so refreshing.
Yeah. I mean, I know that sometimes single girls, we can be a bit defensive as well, because we're just like, people tell me I'm picky, people tell me this, people tell me that, they try to brand me, label me.
Yeah.
You know what, girls, it's okay if they do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we label them as well. But quietly, but we do, right? So it's okay. Don't like that.
What do you label me?
No, tell you. I'm joking. Nothing. Because I don't have those thank God I don't have that kind of thoughts, right? So, but my point is that don't let that white noise get to you.
Right.
Yeah, it is white noise.
It
isn't
is white noise because
Right.
it's not even what people tell you. Sometimes people ask you, oh, tak kahwin lagi ke?
Yeah.
Oh, tak jumpa lagi ke?
Yeah.
And they say it in like an apologetic tone,
Right.
like a sympathetic. Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, someone is out there. I'm like, so just take it as like very lightly. Inshallah, it'll be great. Like
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like, I'm okay. Are you?
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes they feel bad or they feel uncomfortable. But I think nowadays more and more so, you know, people are getting a bit more like understanding whereby they don't question too much.
Yeah.
Because we can also question them if we want to, but that's not who we are
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't know what challenges people face.
Yeah, I just get very defensive every time, like when Ashraf and I got married, they'd like touch my stomach, like,
Right.
"Dah ada ke?" I'm like, firstly, who are you to touch
Right.
me?
Right.
And then like, why? That's such a personal question. Like, I don't feel like you have the right to ask me that. So I used to get very upset. And my mom would have to like talk me off the cliff, like, in just our society, in just our culture, it's just their way of like showing concern. You
Yeah.
know, they're just, I'm like, why are they so nosy?
Right.
And they're like, it's just their way of showing
It's just
concern.
the way it is,
It's just the
unfortunately.
way it is.
My tip to you, whether you are single about to get married, whether you're married about to get a baby, you have a daughter but you don't have a son, you have a son, you don't have a daughter, your children doesn't have children, whatever situation you're in, and
Yeah.
people are asking you, just tell them, please pray for me. That's,
Yeah,
is-
inshallah.
that's the only thing I say.
Yeah.
Because you never know, they could pray for you on that spot and
Yeah.
then it could come true. You don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So that's the best answer that I always give people.
Mashallah. I feel like just talking to you today has like brought me like so much peace. Yeah.
See, no,
Stop. I've learned so much. Like I feel like I should have been sitting here with like a notepad
No,
and paper.
not
It's
at
okay.
all,
This
not
is
at all.
recorded.
This is recorded.
This is recorded. We're good.
No, I mean
Yeah.
like if those my friends who do know me and they're watching, just they know that I'm also a WIP all the time.
Yeah, we're all
We
WIPs.
all are.
Yeah.
Work in progress.
Work
It's
in
okay. I had
progress.
to figure that out.
Sorry. Not the restaurant in BSC. That's different.
Is that
it
a
a
restaurant?
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
We're Ampang girls. Sorry. KLCC we know. BSC not so
Yeah,
much.
he don't LCC.
Well, if you guys have any questions or if you relate to anything that Safiyya and talked
Yeah.
about or anything that Amal and I said, please feel free to comment them down below.
And subscribe. Feel free to subscribe if you want. Yeah. So I guess that's about it.
I
So
guess that's it for
thank-
today.
thank you for
Thank you so
listening.
much. And thank you so much,
Thank
Safiyya,
you
for
so
Thank
much
you.
coming.
for
Thank you for
coming.
having me. Thank you for having me.
It
I
was-
learned a lot today.
No, look at the message, not at the messenger. So.
Okay.
I mean, okay, thanks guys. Assalamualaikum.